Hey there, and welcome back to Temporary Locals.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Megan. This week, we are taking you on a Battle of the Carolinas to debate the best beaches, mountains, and cities across the Carolinas. But before we get into that, if you're new here, Jared and I are an adventure loving couple sharing our real stories and experiences from the places that we've actually been. So, whether you're planning your next adventure or just here for the storytelling, then you're in the right place. And we would love it if you would subscribe and join us. We put out new episodes every week.
That's right.
All right. So, before we get into this, we wanted to do a disclaimer because we know this could get a little heated. So, this is just our opinion. There might be contention or strong opinions on the Carolinas, North Carolina versus South Carolina, but we're just doing this for fun.
Yeah, I already know that there's going to be people that disagree with this and are going to be like, "Oh, you talked about this place and not this place, or you picked this, area and not this area." And this is just our opinion. We've both traveled extensively throughout the Carolinas, and so this is just some of our favorite areas, and we thought that we'd kind of compare because you always hear people talk about um which state has the best beaches, which state has the best, state parks, hiking areas, outdoor areas, cities, food, whatever it is. And so, even though we live in South Carolina, you're more from the northern part of the state. You're close to Charlotte and you work in Charlotte and stuff. So you are kind of both, right?
Yeah. And
And
again,
also it's like even though I live in South Carolina, I've traveled a lot all throughout both Carolinas, and I have a lot of love for North Carolina. So I think it's going to be pretty fair. But I know that there's going to be people that disagree with our overall like the things that we say about both the states. But um, it's just for fun, and you can let us know kind of what your opinion is on the Battle of the Carolinas.
yeah, and again, this is only going to be places that we've been. So if you say a place that we haven't been, that's kind of like it's not even in scope for this episode. So, but we wanted to share just a little bit of the criteria of what we're going to be discussing. So for beaches, we're going to be, every place we're going to talk about like where it's located. We'll talk about the beach quality, like sand, water, clarity, cleanliness, the crowds and the vibe, if it's like relaxed or more like touristy or like family or party, and then like activities that you could do there. For the mountains, again, every place we're going to talk about like obviously where it's located and kind of like relevance to other areas. So for the mountains, we'll talk about the scenery and the wow factor, hiking and outdoor access, and then like the nearby towns and culture. And then for cities, we'll talk about like food and drink scene, things to do, and the walkability and the layout. And then we'll do a winner for each category and then like an overall winner.
Right. Yeah, and we tried to be like methodical about this and like technical in the way that like we kind of rate these things. So instead of just saying like we think this beach or town or mountain area is better than this one, we tried to like actually come up with like metrics and to the best of our ability and rate them in a fair way. So and then at the end we kind of totaled everything up. Um and yeah, so that's kind of how we went about doing this is trying to be like somewhat like mathematical about it, I guess.
Yeah, we wanted to have a consistent thing that we were kind of rating each area on to be a little bit more fair. Again, it's mostly subjective, but yeah, we wanted to have certain criteria that was standard across each category. Also, this is the first time that we're doing an episode like this. Typically, we do one episode is focused on one location. Um, but yeah, so this is the first time that we're doing this type of episode. So if you like that, let us know. We can try to do more. Also, I don't want to speak too soon, but this is the first time that we're doing video. um, we'll see. But
Well, we did try video once before,
and we
and it
hated
was
it.
only our third episode, fourth episode.
Yeah.
It was our New Orleans episode. And we recorded an entire podcast with video and then decided that we didn't like it. So we actually re-recorded just audio of that entire episode.
Yeah. I remember we turned off the recording, we looked at each other and we were like,
Nope.
I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we're back. We're trying again. And yeah, so without further ado, we'll start with North Carolina beaches.
Yeah, we're going to get into the beaches, and this is one that I think is going to be very contentious because anybody you talk to from North Carolina, typically they're going to rant and rave about how much better North Carolina beaches are than South Carolina. And the same goes for South Carolina. Some of the other categories we have, it's like kind of obvious which one is better. I think most people would agree anyway, as far as like a generalized thing. But for beaches, it's like it really is subjective, and it really is like there's a lot of nuance to it. But I think it's we did the best we could with being fair and picking out like some of our favorite areas in both states and kind of comparing them. So
Yeah. Okay, so we have rated each one. Do we want to like say our rating first or go
No.
through all of the criteria and then we'll do the rating at the
we'll
end?
go through the criteria and then we'll say what it is.
Okay. All right, so you want to I haven't been to Wrightsville, so do you want to take Wrightsville?
Yeah, so our first North Carolina beach is going to be Wrightsville. Wrightsville Beach is outside Wilmington. It's a really well-known North Carolina beach, which is kind of why we picked it. I've been there many times. It's almost like a Charleston type of beach from North Carolina, which we'll kind of get into that. Yeah, so it's one that I picked because it's fairly popular. A lot of people are going to know what we're talking about when we're talking about it, and it's just it's an overall solid beach, I'd say, for North Carolina. So it's located in the southeastern part of North Carolina, outside Wilmington, just north of Myrtle Beach. It's also known as the surfing capital and birthplace of surfing in North Carolina. So if you're somebody that's into surfing, and you see that a lot down here in some of the beaches in our area that we'll get into, but in North Carolina, that's kind of what Wrightsville Beach is known for. It's a very clean beach overall. They have nice soft white sand. It's a 4 mile long beach, Wrightsville itself. And as far as the crowds and vibe go, it's more relaxed versus touristy. It's more family oriented than like party or like a lot of like clubbing and stuff. So it really depends on what you're looking for out of your beach experience. But I think overall, Wrightsville is a solid choice for North Carolina in this competition.
Okay. And so, yeah, drum roll, please. What'd you rate Wrightsville?
Well, and let's just point out, it does have a lot of different activities. And nothing really like huge to write home about, but there is surfing, boating, fishing is really big there, obviously. It does have boardwalks, and it's known for having very nice sunsets. So, but overall, to me, and again, we talked in the beginning, this is my opinion. Wrightsville, although it's a solid place, it's a solid beach, coastal town area, it's not anything overly special. And overall, to me, and I know people are gonna not like this, but I describe it as almost like a diet Charleston, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Like it's kind of like a Charleston beach, just not as like that, just not as nice, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a scaled down version to me. And so for that reason, and also with like just some of the stuff that we kind of looked into, we gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Still solid. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 out of 5. I think that's pretty generous. I think that's pretty fair for Wrightsville.
Alrighty.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, again, I haven't been to Wrightsville. A lot of the like North Carolina beaches were more. I relied on you a lot, so I'm trusting your assessment.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Wilmington, but I've not been to like the beach
Right.
area. So I've been to Wilmington. My dad's friend has a boat. He's had a couple. And so it was many years ago that we went out like trawling
Mm-hmm.
on the ocean in his boat. But yeah, again, didn't spend a whole lot of time in or on the beach. So I'm gonna trust your 3 out of 5 for Wrightsville Beach.
Yeah. I also think it's important to point out that this area, the Southeast especially, is like one of the fastest developing areas in the country, and a lot of people are moving here. A lot of things are being built all the time here, and things change so rapidly. So I also think it's important to point out that like I'm judging this based off the last time I was there. I haven't been to Wrightsville in a few years, so it could be completely different now because that's how fast things kind of develop down here. Um, so there may be things I don't know about. So this is just based on my overall experiences in these different places, and some of these places I may not have been to super recently. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, things can change very quickly. My dad and I would go spring break in Daytona Beach, and we watched it go from like spring break capital of the world to like, no. The
Yeah.
city was like, putting a lot of laws in place to try to minimize the amount of like party activity and things
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah, I think like spring break, the culture and just that experience has like moved slowly further and further south over the years, over the decades. We talked about in our St. Augustine episode how originally St. Augustine was like a spring break destination.
Hmm.
Um, but people don't really go to St. Augustine anymore for spring break. It's not really a spring break place. In the same way that some of the other places, as you get further down into Florida, over time it kind of they keep kind of going lower and lower, and now like Miami and the Keys are like big for spring break, and people are even going even further down into like the Bahamas and stuff now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay. Our next place is Topsail Beach. This is again one that I haven't been to. I know a lot of people who have gone and really enjoy it, but this is another one that I really relied on you for the bulk of this information.
Yeah. So Topsail Beach is a really awesome place that I really enjoy. Um, it's on the southern end of Topsail Island, and it's a 26-mile barrier island off the coast of southeastern North Carolina. It's situated between Wilmington and Jacksonville in Pender County. Um, so it's a really cool location, and it's really well known for, I think, being one of North Carolina's like top beaches outside of maybe the Outer Banks, further down. And so the beach quality has really clean beaches, uh, clear water, for the Carolinas near the inlet especially, and it is a significant loggerhead sea turtle nesting area, which is really cool. We also have those places down here, which we'll get into. But yeah, the loggerhead sea turtle areas, they're protected there and everything, and it's like a big part of that culture. So that's a really cool part of it. As far as the crowds and vibe go, it has kind of a retro vibe to it, which is interesting, and I really like. It maintains a quaint and like historic fishing village feel with like fewer high rise buildings and more like single family homes. So a lot of ways, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like Hilton Head in that way, and you see that changing again with development and stuff now. But it kind of reminds me of that same kind of feel where it's like they try to keep it historic and a lot more like scaled down, um, to keep it, uh, yeah, more historic, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and feels less commercial
Right.
and developed. Yeah, I you mentioned Hilton Head, and I really appreciate that about Hilton Head because when you go down there, it doesn't feel, too commercial. So
Right. Um, there's all kinds of activities there aside from just the typical beach experiences that you would have. They have a number of museums there, and one of the museums they have there is a missile museum because Topsail Beach was a part of Operation Bumblebee, which is a World War II missile development program that took place there. So there's a lot of really cool history, World War II history, museums. It's pretty artsy in some places. So overall, I really, really like Topsail Beach for a North Carolina beach. And so for that, we gave Topsail Beach a 5 out of 5. Holla.
that was a strong rating there.
That's right.
Okay, so, and I don't think we mentioned this, but I think for each one we typically did like 3 or 4 or 5 places. So we've got 2 North Carolina beaches so far, and if my thing will scroll down, I think we have 2 more.
Mhm.
So the next one is Morehead City Beach.
Hmm.
again, another one that I haven't been to, but I've heard you talk about quite a few times. So again, I'm gonna rely on you for this one. I got Outer Banks though. I can do that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, some of these beaches are going to be a little lesser known, even though they're probably more well known down here. But most people, anybody that's listening that's from like up north or something, is going to recognize the Outer Banks. Obviously, might recognize Charleston, but some of the places they may not recognize up north are like staples down here, and that people down here would know. Um, Morehead City is located in eastern North Carolina's Crystal Coast. It's situated on a peninsula where the Newport River meets the Bogue Sound, and it's directly across from Beaufort and connected by a bridge to the Atlantic Beach. It's called Bogue Banks, and so I've always kind of viewed Morehead as being it's like the foothills before you get to the Outer Banks. It's kind of like the last coastal town before you go up into the Outer Banks. And so I've spent a lot of time in Morehead City. It's a really cool little town. It's a little like fishing village. Again, not very commercialized. Um, so I really enjoy it. Um, it's got a really vibrant like downtown. Yeah, and it's known for being the gateway to the Barrier Islands. It's known for deep sea fishing, and it's got a really lively atmosphere to it. It's near the graveyard of the Atlantic, which is home to like numerous shipwrecks. So it's really big for diving. A lot of people like to dive on those shipwrecks. And so a lot of history there with those shipwrecks, a lot of piracy going in and out of there, making their way to the Outer Banks. So it's kind of well known for that also. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I think we might catch some flack because I think in North Carolina it's Beaufort, and in South Carolina, because there's two cities. There's Beaufort, North Carolina, and then Beaufort, South
South Carolina,
Carolina.
right.
So
But
it's,
they're spelled the same.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I think Beaufort is just more of like a antebellum way to say it, maybe.
Yeah.
It's Beaufort,
Yeah. Yeah.
like Savannah, Georgia. But yeah, so the beach quality in Moorhead, it can vary. So it can be good and bad. It really kind of depends on where you're at. There's been past advisories issued for high bacteria levels after heavy rains, um, as far as the waters and stuff go. But generally, the monitors of these areas weekly check their site for current conditions, and typically it's a pretty clean place. It's a pretty clean beach. Um, yeah, so
Okay.
um, the crowds and vibe. It's cute, laid back coastal town. It's not overly developed. There's yeah,
Like a local feel to it.
yeah,
I think we said it was similar to like Folly Beach, South Carolina. That's a really local feel. And then we'll get to that one later when we talk about South Carolina.
right, yep, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like activities go, I mean, it's got all your typical activities for a beach town, a coastal town. It is kind of a foodie destination, I'd say. There's some really good food places there that I personally know about. Um, there's a place called Dank Burrito, or at least it was there. I think there's one other one that I know of that's in Raleigh, but I think the main one is in Morehead City, and so they have really awesome food. If you're ever in Morehead City, check out Dank Burrito. And yeah, they have big fishing tournaments there. And like I said before, scuba diving is pretty big there because of all the shipwrecks. So
Yeah, I imagine that's pretty awesome.
yeah. But
Okay.
overall, I thought it was a pretty fair. I tried to be pretty strict about my like um
Ratings. We didn't want to give everything a 5.
right. Yeah, I mean any one of these places that we're going to talk about today, none of them were terrible. We tried to pick all like the best ones that we know of. And so, but I still tried to be like pretty strict with my ratings. And so for Morehead City, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Alrighty. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the next one that we're doing is Outer Banks. I've been there a few times. I did spring break in Kitty Hawk, and then went back to a couple of the other beaches with my family more recently here.
Yeah, and anybody listening is probably thinking, well, Outer Banks is a whole bunch of different islands and beaches, but we kind of put them together as like a conglomerate because we don't have time to go through all of them, obviously, and that's another like point of contention that people are going to say, well, this Outer Bank island's better than this one or whatever. So instead of just trying to pick which island, which beach in the Outer Banks is our favorite, we're just going to overall say the Outer Banks in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, like you said, the Outer Banks, it's a 200-mile chain of barrier islands off of North Carolina's coast. It's known for wide beaches, history, lighthouses, natural beauty, offering a mix of like resort towns like Corolla and Nags Head, and more remote, undeveloped areas like Ocracoke. It's popular for, vacation rentals, water sports, and wildlife. And there's a Netflix show dedicated to it, even though it's mostly filmed on South Carolina beaches.
well, there you go, right there we win.
Yeah,
Carolina
right. But yeah, the beach quality in the Outer Banks is like typically very clean, white sand. The crowd and the vibe is more of a slower vibe, more family friendly, less party vibe. I experienced that in Kitty Hawk. So we did spring break in Kitty Hawk, and it was like March, so it was pretty laid back. There wasn't a whole lot of people there, but it was nice. It's like relaxed, historic, nature focused, and kind of offers a break from like crowded cities with like a strong sense of adventure. As far as activities go, like I mentioned, Kitty Hawk. There's the Wright Brothers National Memorial, which we did go visit, which was pretty cool. And that's like the theme of North Carolina. You see it on their license plate, like first in flight. The Wright brothers are home to Kitty Hawk in North Carolina. There's the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, which I think I told you this story the other day. I attempted to go to, but my friend got pulled over doing like 95 and a 45, and it turned into a bad day for everyone. Mandatory court date and everything.
So you never made it to the lighthouse, huh?
We never made it to that lighthouse.
Are you able to climb that lighthouse?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Some you can, some you can't.
Yeah.
Is it one of the bigger ones? Is it tall?
I think so. I think it's a pretty tall lighthouse. I'm not sure exactly what the metrics are.
I've seen photos. I've never gone to it.
Yeah.
Personally, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, we went to Cordova and saw the wild mustangs on the beach. That is a must do. Like if you're going to the Outer Banks, you have to have a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get out on the beach, but that was phenomenal. So you can drive out on the actual beach. It's rare to see the mustangs like out by the ocean, but you can see it. And then you can kind of go back onto like off the beach, and there's like neighborhood residential areas, and that's where you'll see a lot of the mustangs just kind of chilling, walking around, finding food and whatever. So that's pretty cool. Another cool place in the Outer Banks is the Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge. It's located on the Albemarle Peninsula in eastern North Carolina. It was first established in 1984 to protect a rare wetland and the like associated wildlife there, but it also protects swamp forests and has a lot of marsh. So it supports large populations of black bear, which I just thought was so interesting. When my dad was talking about going there, he's like, yeah, there's black bears there, and I'm like, black bears on the coast of North Carolina? It's also home to like wintering waterfowl, river otter, and then other wildlife. In addition to that, it's one of the only places in the world that you can see the endangered red wolves in the wild. We didn't see any while we were there. We did see a black bear, and it's a pretty big refuge, so you can drive around and you'll see piles of cars, and we call them like bear jams because it's like, oh, there's something over there. People are stopped and looking. We did see a black bear. That was pretty cool.
That's just like in the Smoky Mountains. If you're going down the road and there's like a traffic jam in the middle of the like a back road, there's bears most likely.
Yeah,
a bear jam.
Yeah, so that's the Outer Banks, and I mean, again, spread all over, but in general, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, and like we said, there's going to be I mean, that's a real short summary of the Outer Banks. We know that, but just for time constraints and because of like just getting through this and trying to, that's just an overall generalization. I know we could do an entire episode. We could do multiple episodes on the Outer Banks themselves. We understand that, but this is just an overall kind of summary of the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people are going to be, um, are going to favor the places like the Outer Banks, especially anybody that's listening that's from like up north, because a lot of people that I know back home where I'm from come down every year and go to the Outer Banks for vacation. And so it's a lot closer to them than more of the South Carolina beaches. So they tend to go to places like the Outer Banks, and so they may not, really know much about the South Carolina beaches, but um so yeah, a lot of northerners go there. I mean, aside from Myrtle Beach, a lot of the beaches down here, people have started to come down more in the past few years. You see a lot more northerners actually coming down further south to go to like South Carolina beaches. But I think a lot of people up north especially are more familiar with like the North Carolina coast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Okay. Moving on into our South Carolina beaches. First one we have up is Folly Beach, which we kind of mentioned earlier. Folly is a barrier island town located just south of Charleston via James Island. It's about 20-30 minute drive from downtown Charleston. It is known as the Edge of America for its surfing and unique low country charm, and also known for finding shark teeth on the beach.
Yep.
As far as beach quality goes, it's got like brown, coarse sand, not like the soft white sand, but it's still clean. And sometimes you can even see like the green water. A lot of the water around this area, it's not, as you get further south, it gets more blue. It's kind of like gray, green. It just depends on the day.
Right. Sometimes that emerald green color of the ocean though is really nice. You see that a lot in like northern Florida, like Emerald Isle and all that kind of like St. Augustine Beach has a lot of times the ocean is very green. It's like not like a gross green, but like a really pretty emerald green. And so I really like that. That's just me personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because unless I'm in the Bahamas, you're not going to see like turquoise beautiful waters.
Right.
So, the green ocean with like the kind of green tint to it is nice to me.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as the crowds and vibe go, it's like we kind of said before, it's a laid back beach town. I mean, I love the vibe in Folly. For activities, there's the Folly Beach Pier. It's pretty long, and they just recently redid it. And there's some like sand volleyball courts out right next to the pier. Great food in Folly too. We like Taco Boy and Rita's. Great food. There's also the Spray Paint Road / like Morris Island Lighthouse / the Boneyard Beach that you can go down to. So it's like at the far end of the island. And it's just this kind of like, it's like something Heritage Inlet is what it's called. But you can kind of park down there in like a cul-de-sac and walk down the Spray Paint Road. And there's always kinds of different spray paint there. And then there's like a Boneyard Beach down at the end. It's like a calmer side, not that Folly Beach itself isn't calm, but it's less known, I think.
Right.
It's less populated out there. I think on a busy day you can go down there. There's also tons of stretches in between like the Folly Beach Pier and that lighthouse, because you can just kind of pull off on the road and you'll see people surfing out there all the time too.
Yeah.
And then they do the Bill Murray Polar Plunge. So we were there for New Year's a couple years ago. I got roasted for how I mentioned the flip-flop drop.
Flip-flop drop.
So like you can watch the ball drop in like New York City. In Folly Beach, they do right in downtown these lit up like flip-flops. So they like, do the 10-second countdown and you watch the flip-flops drop.
I spent the whole night trying to get on the news.
Oh yeah, Stacey
Stacerson, Channel 5. I kept walking around trying to get in the back of all her shots of her
yeah
doing the news.
Oh, that was fun. But on New Year's Day, they do a polar plunge. So everybody dresses like a Bill Murray character because I guess he lives in
Yeah,
Charleston.
he has a house in Charleston, and he's pretty well known for like being in that area. I think he also like is part owner or owns a baseball team down there. I don't know. I'm
Maybe.
not big on sports, but yeah, Bill Murray is like well known in Charleston. You see him around town. It's.
Yeah. So people will dress like, any of his movie characters and they do a polar plunge where they all like run into the ocean. So
Yeah.
we didn't stay for that one, but that'd be an interesting thing to do, if you're there for the holiday season. So overall, Folly Beach, we said 5 out of 5.
Yeah. I think we're going to be a little we're going to favor Folly Beach a little bit because it is so close to our hearts. Despite being to all these places I've talked about so far, Folly Beach, not just because we live in South Carolina, but Folly Beach is like special to us. I think we've both spent a lot of time there. We've early on in our relationship, we went there a lot. It's just such a awesome place, and kind of like you were saying, I think the vibe of Folly itself is what makes it so great. It's such a cool little like surf town. Despite being right outside Charleston, and it is touristy. A lot of people go there, obviously, but it still has a very like local feel to it. There's a lot of local businesses and like cool little food places, and not a lot of overdevelopment yet. Aside from Tides at Folly, which is the giant hotel there, there's no like big resorts really. I mean, it's got a really cool local feel to it and kind of hippie-ish.
Yeah. A lot of really cute beach houses.
Yep.
It's fun to just kind of drive up and down that little strip, for lack of a better word. Yeah, lots of really cute little quaint beach houses.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the vibe mostly is what gave Folly such a high rating. Is we just really love the feel of the beach town and being there.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I didn't mention this. I don't know if I've ever told you this. I got stung by a jellyfish at Folly Beach.
Oh, wow.
And I'll still rate it 5 out of 5. I can look past it. They have lifeguards too, and they poured like vinegar on it, which I didn't know.
I have the same
was a
story,
thing.
but it's from Tybee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, except mine was I got stung by a Portuguese man of war.
Mm.
And yeah, I screamed like a girl. I didn't know what it was. All you feel is pain. You didn't like you can't tell what it is, and so I didn't know what was happening. And I started running out of the ocean, and it got me on the foot. And that's just a quick story. Sorry. And as I was like hobbling off the beach, like limping, because like I still have a burn on my foot from it, by the way, like a scar.
Yeah.
And as I was kind of like limping up the beach, this guy walked up and knew immediately what would happen because I guess like they had been getting reports of people being stung all weekend. It was like the Portuguese man of wars. They actually have a flag for it that shows like they're in the water, so like be cautious or don't go in.
Mm-hmm.
And so he knew exactly like what had happened, and he walked up and said that his daughter had gotten stung the day before, and it actually the tentacle wrapped all the way around her leg, and she had burns all down her leg. Oh. And I was like sitting there writhing in pain, and he's like, he told me to rub wet sand in it. And at the time I thought, I'm not fucking doing that. Like, what do you mean, rub wet sand in it?
Rub some dirt in it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it turns out if you look it up, like that's actually, you can do that. Oh. And it'll help alleviate at least a little bit of the pain. But it was after that I like kind of hobbled my way up to the lifeguard deck, and they knew immediately what it was also. And he had a bottle of vinegar and sprayed my foot, and instantly it felt better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got stung by a Portuguese.
That's a crazy story. I've been stung a few times. Once was also in Georgia. It was near Brunswick. And yeah. I never had scars from it, so I think they were just like normal baby bitch jellyfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's something because it's venom, mm-hmm. right? That they like inject through their tentacles or whatever. So they must be more highly venomous. Their venom must be, I don't know.
Just the amount of time I've spent in the ocean, it's pretty amazing that I've only ever been stung one time, though.
Yeah, I've probably been stung 3 or 4 times.
Wow, you're unlucky.
Yeah. One time was walking like a sandbar, so like the water was like knee height, and that was the first time that I was stung. And I remember walking and the way I described it to my dad was I felt like I was touching a cloud. And then all of a sudden it was, so I think I touched like the top of the jellyfish, felt like a cloud underwater. And then the tentacles hit me. And it's crazy because sometimes like right after you're stung, I guess not with a man of war, but you can see like the specific like stripes, like where the tentacles touched you. And at that time we didn't have any vinegar. There was no lifeguards. I didn't want anyone to pee on me because I was the only girl in the group. That would have been weird. So this dude walked up and he had a beer and he poured beer on it.
Did that help?
It did.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Good to know.
When in doubt.
What kind of beer?
It was a green bottle.
Heineken?
Either Heineken or like a Stella.
Mm.
Are Stella's green bottles? I don't know. I think so. Anyways, on to the next beach. This one we've also kind of mentioned a little bit is Hilton Head.
Mm-hmm.
It is the southernmost point of South Carolina. It's a popular resort town and barrier island located in the Low Country region. And it's just northeast of Savannah, Georgia. There's actually, like, you can do like a ferry. I think we might talk about this. I can't remember if we put it in our notes, but you can do a ferry from like Charleston, or I'm sorry, Hilton Head to Savannah.
Yeah.
So it's known for beaches, it's golf and outdoor activities. It's a major tourist destination, and they have, like we mentioned earlier, like really strict developmental rules that, you know, we think contributes to like the crowd the vibe there. Beach quality, soft white sand, clean water. The sand's ideal for like walking and biking. We've rented bikes there. Highly recommend doing that. The water's generally pretty calm. It's got a shallow, gradual entry, unlike, we didn't mention this, but the Morris Island Lighthouse. Remember getting in the water there?
Mm-hmm.
The water, back to Folly. If you're at the Morris Island Lighthouse, the water, there's just like a drop off, which I'll never forget watching you just stand there and all of a sudden you were just gone.
Well, because the lighthouse is right there on like a little island out. It looks like it's only a few hundred yards away, and it looks like you could walk to it or swim. But so I just started walking out into the ocean towards it, and I got maybe 20 feet out into the ocean because there's no real waves. You know, it's kind of like really calm waters, and I got about maybe 20 feet out or so, and I just fell down into the ocean fully, my entire head underwater, and I had to grab onto the like cliff that I had just fallen off of in the water and pull myself back up, and came up out of the water. And you were watching me, and I was just there and then not there.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And like, you weren't trying to go swimming. You had clothes on. You had a shirt on.
Yeah. And the water was only like up to maybe my waist.
Yeah.
And I was out like pretty far. So it was kind of shallow water. And I was only up to maybe my waist, and I just fell into the depths of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like the Mariana Trench. The Marinara Trench.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a funny story. So, but back to Hilton Head, getting into the water, it's pretty gradual. Clean water. The amenities, there's a lot of public access points like Caligny Beach. They have restroom, showers, like changing areas, picnics, things like that. They also have a like beach toy borrow bins. So when you like if you're bringing kids on the beach, they have like bins where you can just, you know, take what you need, use it, and then just put it back for the next person to use. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. As far as crowds and the vibe, it's more relaxed, family friendly. Like we mentioned, there's local regulations that keep the buildings a certain height and color, so it's not super like there's not lots of like tall buildings. There's not like Ferris wheels like there are at like Myrtle. There's not a whole lot of like crazy lights. Consistently rated a top family destination. They have lifeguards there. A lot of low cost like nature activities, and like we said, it's popular for biking on the sand and walking and water sports. As far as activities, a lot of surfing, boating, fishing, boardwalks, and sunsets. There is for us, but for, other people that might be interested, there's a Disney resort in Hilton Head. We haven't been, probably never will, but if that's your
Mm.
type of thing, they have a Disney resort there. There's also the Sea Pines Nature Preserve, which we love going to. It is cash only. It's like $8 a car or something like that. And so on the Sea Pines Nature Preserve is the Harbor Island Lighthouse, which you can climb, and we have done. And what's cool about that is they have a camera at the top of the lighthouse that they live stream. So we've done it a few times where we've gone and like sent people, our friends and family the link and be like, "Hey, look at us. Can you see us?" And we'll just like stand there and wave. There's a little bit of a delay, but that's a cool feature. There's Burke's Beach and Coligny Beach. They have showers and restrooms and stuff. We've biked on those. There's like, I want to say 14 miles. Maybe that's not the right number. There's a lot of like biking trails, like paved trails that are not, separate from the like road where cars would drive. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool. There's shopping in the Coligny area. A lot of really niche stores. There's that gem,
Black market minerals.
yeah, black market mineral store that we like to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. Anything you want to add about Hilton Head?
Yeah, again, Hilton Head's going to be one of those places that I'm going to be like, I'm going to favor a bit, because it's. I say this all the time. It's probably my favorite like coastal area down here, my favorite beach town down here, my favorite island, and I know there's going to be people that are like, oh, it's so like touristy, and it is getting that way. Um, it is getting more developed over time. Even in the 10 years I've been going there, it's gotten much more overly developed than it used to be. It used to be have a lot more of like a small town local feel to it. So it is getting, there are some resorts and stuff there. It isn't like Folly or some of these other like smaller beach towns. But I just have so many incredible memories there that I am gonna be like a little more, you know, I'm gonna favor it a little more, and but it is a really incredible place, and I love it despite what anybody thinks. There's a lot to do, and not only are the beach areas really awesome, but if you know where to go on Hilton Head, there are more like secluded areas that you can go to. Um, there are secluded beaches that I know of that you can go to that aren't near any of the resorts and no real tourists go to. The Sea Pines Preserve, it's, you do have to pay to get on there, but like the hiking and the nature, that, a lot of these other beach towns, there's not a lot of hiking, but you can actually hike through like a really cool forest. And, the bird watching there is like top notch. And like you mentioned before, the biking trails there, it's known as like being one of the best destinations for bicycling in the country. It has an entire just all over the island. There's bike routes that you can take, and you can go from one end of the island to the other through beaches and forest and beautiful. Just renting a bike there is one of my favorite things to do. And I'm not a huge bicycler, but like I love going to Hilton Head and getting on a bicycle and just exploring the whole island in a day.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's really cool about like there's so many bike rental places, they will like drop the bikes off at your hotel.
Yeah, they'll
And
deliver them and then pick them up.
yeah, that was really convenient. We did that one time.
Mhm. We also did
I was gonna talk the timeshare.
yeah, we did a timeshare there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. But before we do, I wanted to mention that Sea Pines, you can see alligators there, which is like
Well, you
just
can see alligators
so cool.
on the entire island.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, you see them everywhere.
specifically, like you are going to see them in Sea Pines.
Yeah.
There's also like the horses that we stopped in Sea Pines and
Mhm.
we fed those. That was fun too. Just like a random thing that we just stumbled upon. And we are like, oh, let's check out these horses, and there's people out there just like feeding them. So that was fun.
Yeah, and that's what's nice about Sea Pines is that if you're in Hilton Head and you're like, oh, this is like developed and there's too many, there's like a McDonald's there now and a Starbucks and stuff, and it is getting to that point where, and this is one of my biggest fears because I love Hilton Head so much, is that in the next 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, it is going to become Myrtle Beach. And I hope that doesn't happen. But if you're in Hilton Head and it is a little bit too like resorty or developed for you, if you go to Sea Pines, they've done a really awesome job of keeping that what it is. There's no big hotels there. People live there, but it's just beautiful nature and hiking trails, and so for that alone, it gives Hilton Head a couple notches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're definitely gonna see alligators at Sea Pines. There's also Salty Dog Cafe, which we like to eat at there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, getting into our um timeshare story. Normally we'd be like, no, just leave us alone, like we're not interested, but they were offering like gift cards or something like that. So we got like what, $300
Mm-hmm.
in gift cards that
Yep.
we actually used to do a dolphin cruise.
Right.
And then we got like groceries and stuff with it, but like we sat through a timeshare spiel and we both knew like there's no way.
Right.
So,
Yeah, the guys that like offer you, they have people that work for these different timeshare companies, and they go around and they just try to like convince you to have to like come and like sit and listen to it. And I'm assuming they get some sort of kickback. You know, that's kind of how they make their money. So their only job is to get you through the door. So they kind of do whatever they have to do. And once you're through the door, I don't think it really matters whether or not you end up getting the timeshare or not. I think that these guys get paid either way. Maybe they make more if you actually commit to the timeshare, but so they're just trying to get you through the door. And so they have guys that actually go out on like golf carts and just like drive around the island. We happened to be on bikes at the time,
mm-hmm.
and we were riding bikes out of our hotel, and a guy on a bike coming towards us stopped us and asked us. And so this guy was just on a bicycle, just riding his bike around the island and just, trying to get people to sign up for this timeshare.
Just getting people to go agree to go sit
Right, right.
in the
Yeah.
like seminar thing.
Yeah.
And so that's all they care about is just like getting you to go there. And then from there it's the people who are like selling the timeshares.
Right.
Which, he was nice and we felt kind of bad, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Anyways, Hilton Head, 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't say that already, 5 out of 5. We love Hilton Head. The next one is Sullivan's Island, which again, I'm gonna let you take this one away.
Yeah, Sullivan's Island is outside Charleston, another one of those beach towns from that area. Um, yeah, it's a small, affluent barrier island located at the mouth of the Charleston Harbor. It's just northeast of the Charleston Peninsula, and it's across the bridge from Mount Pleasant, and it's bordered by the Intercoastal Waterway and the Atlantic Ocean. So cool location. Your dad and I went there early in the morning one time while you were sleeping, and took some photos. They have a lighthouse there also, which is a interesting lighthouse because it is triangular.
Oh yeah.
It has a triangular lighthouse. And it's a newer lighthouse too. It's not as old as some of the more historic ones in South Carolina or North Carolina. It's a newer lighthouse. I don't have the date for that, but yeah, Sullivan's Island, it's very like laid back and chill. It's known for its pristine beaches. Um, the historic Fort Moultrie has some upscale dining and relaxed small town feel to it. Yeah, they also have some strict like developmental rules, a lot like Hilton Head does. And I think it's also known for the sea turtles population that nests there every year. And so we didn't actually mention this about Hilton Head. I don't know if Sullivan's Island's the same way, but they protect the sea turtles there, and so they protect them so much so that like during certain times of the year when the sea turtles are going to be nesting, you can't have any sort of lights. There's no street lights because the way that the sea turtles, when they hatch, they go towards the moonlight, and that's how they know to go to the ocean. And so they require you to like not have your porch light on during this time of the year. Like, they don't want it to confuse the sea turtles. So that's another thing to know.
Yeah.
But as far as Sullivan's Island goes, it's a pretty solid place, man. I really enjoyed it. There's like cool trails on the beach that you can hike around the coastline, and yeah.
Alrighty. What do we think for Sullivan's Island?
We give it a 4 out of 5. I think it's a pretty solid beach, like I said. It's less quiet, or I mean, less crowded. Generally, more quiet than places like Folly and stuff. So, if that's more of your vibe, is like more of a laid back type feel, it's definitely a place for you. So it's, a place to go to kind of get away from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Next up, we have Edisto Beach. Um, Edisto is located on the southernmost tip of Edisto Island, which is a barrier island off the coast of South Carolina. It's like 50 miles southwest of Charleston. There's about 3 miles of beach on Edisto. The beach quality, at least at the state park, it's like very shelly, coarse sand, and it was like really uncomfortable to walk out there without shoes. But it is known for its quiet, family friendly atmosphere, natural beauty, and like abundant seashells. As far as activities go, there, like I mentioned, there's a state park, camping, fishing. There's an environmental learning center there. There's a playground there too. Fresh seafood and farm stands like the King's Farm Market. Um, yeah, what do you think about Edisto?
Edisto is kind of odd to me because it's like it's one of those beaches down here that a lot of people go to and talk about, and a lot of people like rant and rave about it. I've been to Edisto a number of times, and every time I don't understand the appeal of it. That's just me. It's a popular beach, you hear about it a lot, but I don't. It's not terrible. I mean, it's not like an awful place or anything, but it's not on the same level as a lot of the other beaches around here. So I don't really understand why. I mean, there are people that go to Edisto Beach every year, like that's where they go, and I don't get it.
Yeah, last time we went to Edisto, I remember like kind of leaving and thinking like I wish we would have gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
We just went for like a day trip, I think,
Yep.
but it was like
Yeah. The beach kind of sucks. The sand sucks. It's just all shells, and it's just the atmosphere. It's just not great. And then there is a state park there, and there's a couple of hiking trails there. But anytime I've been there, nobody even uses those hiking trails. And not last time, but one of the times I was there, I went to actually go try to hike these hiking trails, and they were just completely covered
like
with
overgrown.
no, completely covered with golden orb weaver spider,
Mm.
like
Yeah, like the
webs,
spider webs and
and
stuff.
just there was just giant spiders all through it. And I was like, well, you can tell that nobody actually hikes these trails. So again, I'm sure there's people that may listen to this and disagree, and if so, then let us know what you think about Edisto or why it's better than what we're saying. But just from my experience, not a huge fan.
Yeah.
And so some of the other beaches that we talked about from South Carolina got a really high rating. So Edisto, we kind of threw in here because it is a very popular place, and a lot of people talk about it, and a lot of people go there. So we thought it important to put it in there, but also be honest about what we think about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for that reason, we gave it a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. It's not
It's not
awful,
terrible.
but
I mean, it's still a beach.
yeah,
It's still better.
right.
It's still better than not being at the beach.
Sure. Sure.
But there's just way better places, in my opinion, to go,
Yeah.
even in that area. I mean,
Yeah. So overall, for the category of beaches, we have South Carolina with an average 4.25 out of 5, and North Carolina with a 3.9 out of 5. So our winner for beaches is South Carolina.
woo!
Woohoo!
I know there's people in North Carolina right now that are just screaming at us.
Seething, like what? I mean, there's also some South Carolina beaches that we didn't even mention. Um, but
Right.
we picked the ones that we wanted to cover. If there's some that you think that we should have covered, let us know. Maybe we'll do another rendition of this.
And if there's a hidden gem somewhere in North Carolina that you want to let us know about, we'll go check it out.
Yeah. All right, moving on to mountains. We're going to start with North Carolina mountains. This one, before we get into this, I mean, just like the nature of, topography. North Carolina has a higher volume of mountains
Yeah.
than South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. This one was kind of hard to judge because I think it's kind of clear. I mean, we'll wait and get into it, but it's kind of clear that North Carolina has better mountains, has more mountains. But we thought it important to do it anyway, and kind of also give North Carolina its props for something since we did seem to prefer South Carolina beaches. North Carolina is definitely more of a mountain area. So
Yeah. So first up for North Carolina, we had the Blue Ridge Parkway. It is like kind of like the Outer Banks. It's like it's a very wide range. So it's a 469-mile scenic highway in the Appalachian, anyone? Mountains, connecting the Shenandoah National Park in Virginia near Waynesboro Rockfish Gap to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in North Carolina near Cherokee. So it runs through both states, offers stunning views, lots of hiking and outdoor recreation. Not part of the Blue Ridge Parkway, but honorable mention is the Tail of the Dragon, the US 129 at Deals Gap. It's, like I said, not part of the parkway, but it is famous. It's closely connected to the parkway, and it's a lot of times like linked with the parkway as part of like epic road trips through the Blue Ridge and Smoky Mountain area. It's got a lot of extreme curves and epic scenery, so it's like very popular in the motorcycle
and dangerous, right?
Yeah. So, but a lot of people will combine the two for like a comprehensive like mountain driving experience. Scenery and wow factor of the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's got that like that's why it's called the Blue Ridge. It's got this famous like blue gray haze, where like the different kind of mountain ranges are different tones of blue and gray. It's gorgeous, and very beautiful sunrises and sunsets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is another one where we're kind of like, we're going to be favoring certain areas over others just because of like our experiences there. And we've spent a lot of time in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it's like real close to our hearts, and we've had a lot of really awesome adventures there. So it's one of those things,
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's such a wide area. So like when we talk about like hiking and outdoor access, similar to like the beaches, we talked about like activities. There's so much for us to cover. So there's, Pisgah National Forest, which is famous for its like stunning mountain scenery, lots of waterfalls.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly, we went to like Looking Glass Falls and Sliding Rock. Sliding Rock is fun if you're like swimming. It's what it sounds like. You kind of slide down the rock into the water.
And Looking Glass Falls, we went there in the wintertime, and it was all iced over. And so there was like all this like ice covering the waterfall, and it was still flowing, but then at the bottom it was just like snow.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
It was really awesome. And we spent a lot of time in the Blue Ridge in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed in like Asheville, which we'll do an episode on Asheville in particular. But there was a time when we actually like broke into the Blue Ridge Mountains because they had it closed, right?
Yeah. A lot of times, like in the winter, or just for construction, they'll close certain sections of the Blue Ridge off.
Mm-hmm.
The like scenic byway.
Yeah, this was for a reason though. The Blue Ridge was closed. I don't remember if it was a storm.
I think it was.
It was a hurricane or something, and so they actually had a majority of the Blue Ridge closed, and you couldn't drive down it. But you and I like hopped the fence and walked it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
There's also Mount Mitchell State Park, which we also went to in the winter. It is the highest peak in the eastern United States, towering above the surrounding forest at an impressive 6,684 feet above sea level. So it's the tallest peak east of the Mississippi.
Wow. Yeah. I thought it was more than that. It's only 6,000?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 10.
Seems like chump change compared to like being at Rainbow Mountain in Peru.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing is we did this before we went to Peru.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like a nice little test because I remember getting out of the car, because you get out of the car and then you still have you have to hike up to Mount Mitchell, the overlook. And yeah, I remember feeling the altitude in my chest. I remember it was hard to breathe. It was also wintertime.
Yeah.
Which is arguably harder to hike in. And yeah, I just remember being like winded. But it was after that we ended up, hiking 3 times that elevation in Peru in the high Andes. So
yeah. The Blue Ridge also has the Nantahala National Forest, which we did a whole episode on, our second episode ever of this podcast. We did. So it's an area in the mountains of western North Carolina, centered around Nantahala National Forest, known for its stunning scenery, world-class whitewater rafting, kayaking, a lot of hiking, including the Appalachian Trail runs through there. fishing, waterfalls, outdoor recreation in a temperate rainforest environment. We went to so many waterfalls out
Mhm.
there. We talked about them: Glen Falls, Dry Falls, Rufus Morgan Falls. Um, yeah, Nantahala, we truly love.
Yeah, and I feel like Nantahala is also kind of underrated and not as well known. I mean, obviously people go there, but when talking about overall that area, not many people know about Nantahala,
Yeah,
and it's a very ancient part of the country, and so you see a lot of really cool like ancient history there too.
yeah. We went to
Judaculla Rock.
Judicault Rock. Yeah,
Hmm.
that was pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
So go back and listen to episode 2 also if you want to hear about that area.
yeah. So the two more spots that we wanted to touch on of like hiking, outdoor activities, things to do in the Blue Ridge is Chimney Rock State Park. It's up near Asheville. It was actually, you probably heard about it after Hurricane Helene kind of decimated that area, but I think they're rebuilding and coming back, and that state park has reopened. But it's known for its iconic 315-foot granite monolith with stunning views of the Hickory Nut Gorge and Lake Lure. There's a lot of hiking trails there, and it's just a major outdoor destination in the Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge. There's a 26-story like elevator that you
Mhm.
can, you go into
That was cool.
the rock. So yeah,
Yeah. 'Cause I had been there before, but I had never actually gone in the elevator to go to the top. Yeah, it's like an elevator in the mountain that takes
yeah,
you up.
pretty unique.
You're like you go into a cave
Mm-hmm.
and you go all the way to the end of this tunnel, and it's like you're in like a legit cave, and then you get in this elevator and it takes you up the inside the mountain.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a really cool experience. I'm glad that they've reopened that.
Mhm.
And then the last activity that we wanted to mention or highlight for Blue Ridge is the Grandfather Mountain State Park. It's in Northwest North Carolina, straddling Avery, Caldwell, and Wachuga counties near Linville and Banner Elk. It's known for its iconic mile-high swinging bridge, challenging hiking trails, including the strenuous Profile Trail. It's rich biodiversity with wildlife habits. They've got bears, otters, elk, stunning panoramic views. And it also has an annual Highland Games,
Mhm.
serving as both like a scenic attraction and a protected state park. So, Grandfather Mountain State Park is really cool. If you've ever been on that sketchy bridge, that's cool.
It's also famous for one of the curves that overlooks the mountain ranges and everything when you're up in Grandfather Mountain. That curve is known as the Forrest Gump curve, and that's where there's a scene in Forrest Gump where he's running across the country and all these different places. Well, that scene is from the movie,
Okay.
and so also kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, it actually has a sign that says like Forrest Gump curve or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the swinging bridge goes, when I was there last, it was really busy, and traffic there can be pretty bad too, depending on how busy it is. But um, the bridge itself has a sign that says, I think it's 100 people. It says like 100 people max on it. And I remember walking across the bridge and looking around and being like, "There's way more than 100 people on this bridge right now."
Yeah.
And it's just swaying back and forth. And you're a mile high, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of sketch. It feels, but you get to the other side of the bridge and it's just like boulders and stuff you can climb up, and
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Yeah, I remember it's so windy up there
Mhm.
too. I remember like not being like on the bridge. We did do that, but just like being in the parking lot, and you can kind of like lean into the wind and get, less than 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. But so overall for North Carolina mountains, we said 5 out of 5.
Yeah. I think when talking about mountains, at least on the East Coast or the Southeast, North Carolina definitely. I think that's a fair assessment. I think 5 out of 5 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. South Carolina mountains, first up, we have Table Rock State Park, located at the edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains in northern Pickens County in South Carolina. It's known for the iconic Table Rock Mountain, extensive hiking trails, including strenuous paths to the summit and then like easier waterfall loops. It's got spectacular vistas from the granite dome of Table Rock Mountain and other overlooks. So scenery and wow factor. I mean, it's got a pretty cool overlook, like when you hike that up to like the Table Rock.
Mm-hmm.
As far as hiking goes, there is a lot of like diverse hiking there. So there's like the strenuous Table Rock Trail that we mentioned. It's 7 miles, and then it's got like waterfalls, rock scrambles, stunning views, and then there's easier options like the family friendly Carrot Creek Trail. It's easy and moderate, has some waterfalls, and then there's the Pinnacle Mountain Loop. So you can see a lot of like backcountry. And then there's options for like sunrise hikes and ranger programs there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Table Rock, for being in South Carolina, again, not really known for its mountain areas, is a really cool place. It's a really awesome state park. And if it has, I think the hiking aspect is what really kind of makes Table Rock stand out as far as South Carolina goes. Um, it's one of the best places to hike probably in the state. It's got really awesome outdoor areas and hiking trails and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, we gave Table Rock a 4 out of 5.
yep.
Next up for South Carolina, we have Caesar's Head State Park. I'm gonna let you take that one away.
All right, yeah, Caesar's Head. It's northwest South Carolina, part of the Mountain Bridge Wilderness area. It's called Caesar's Head because it's known for having a massive granite rock formation, and it resembles Julius Caesar's profile, and so that's kind of where the name derives from. It offers vast views of the Blue Ridge. Why don't we put fucking stupid words on there that we know we're not going to be able to fucking say? What is escarpment? What does that mean?
Where?
What do you mean?
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong one.
Like, I try to do the whole like reading the shit, and I can't, because there's just fucking words in there that I'm like, I don't even know that word.
Okay, then don't say it.
Well, I know, but I'm in the middle of like reading, and it's like I come to a word, and I'm like, now I don't know what to say.
Okay. Well, just abandon it. We'll just start over.
Okay.
The next one is Caesar's Head State Park, and I'll let you take that one because I have not been there.
Yeah, Caesar's Head. It's northwest South Carolina. It's part of the Mountain Bridge Wilderness area, and it gets its name from. It's known as Caesar's Head because it's got a massive granite rock formation that resembles Julius Caesar's profile, and it just has really awesome views. As far as, like I said, I know I keep like reiterating this, but for South Carolina, again, not known as like a really awesome mountainous area, Caesar's Head stands out because it has one of the best views of the state from the top. And so there is hiking and stuff there, but to get to Caesar's Head to the lookout, you can essentially drive right up to it. And then it's like a short walk, but yeah, I mean, overall, just the view itself, I thought was important to put on here, and it makes it a decent competitor.
Yeah. So what would you rate it?
We gave it a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah.
South Carolina State Park. This next one, I'm actually kind of confused why we have it here. We have Kings Mountain State Park in South Carolina. I thought that was a North Carolina one. Do we fudge that
near
up?
Gastonia, but it's also near Blacksburg. Is it possible it's in both?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, Kings Mountain State Park. It's in Kings Mountain near Gastonia and Blacksburg, like you just said. It is known for its Revolutionary War history. Adjacent to, there's a military park there. So there's a lot of hiking and horse trails, fishing lakes, camping, and civilian conservation corps architecture, offering a mix of like outdoor recreation and historical significance. As far as the scenery and wow factor, it's kind of like meh. It's called Kings Mountain. It's like a hill.
Yeah.
It's not that big. I mean, you could say the same for like Crowder's Mountain too. They're like the same size.
Right. Yeah, I think what gives Kings Mountain a bit of an edge, or what makes it even in the conversation, is the history aspect, the military park. a lot of people are into that kind of stuff. And if you are into that stuff, it is a cool place to go. You can also hike, and it is, there are outdoor activities. But I think what kind of makes it stand out, or even puts it into the conversation, is the historical aspect of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that, I mean, not I didn't mean to downplay at all. That military park is really cool. There's lots of like monuments and lots of information there. It's a short hike though. But as far as hiking and outdoor access, there's the Kings Mountain National Recreation Trail, which is a 16-mile loop for experienced hikers that crosses streams, passes granite outcroppings, and features rolling hills in the Blue Ridge foothills. This is actually one that I think we should do because we've talked about it before, but we're preparing to do a hike on the Palmetto Trail. It's our first time ever doing a through hike, so we're kind of in the conditioning phase right now. But this is one that I was thinking we'll probably hike that 16-mile trail as like a prep. Like we might turn that into like a 2-day, do
Yeah.
8 miles a day.
Right.
Um,
I think that's a good
practice hike.
idea, because I think 16 miles is good to break up into 2 days. I mean, we're going to definitely try to push more than 8 miles a day when we're doing the Palmetto Trail. But that's a good way to kind of condition ourselves to do that.
Yeah, and I want to use that to kind of like, set up our gear. Just do a 2-day, like one night hike, have us be able to set up our camp and like cook some food and whatever and get like a sort of an idea of what it's going to be like.
Well, and it's kind of nice because it's 16 miles, but it is a loop, so we don't need anybody to pick us up or drop us off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great one for us. And like I mentioned, for like the Kings Mountain National Military Park, there's that battlefield trail. It's completely paved, moderate to strenuous 1.5 mile trail. Lots of exhibits and monuments. So that one's pretty cool too. Overall, Kings Mountain, just think the scenery and wow factor kind of brought it down. We did a 2 out of 5, but still, like, it's a great park to visit. But just compared to everything else, 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
South Carolina, we have Congaree National Park, which is pretty sweet.
It's the only national park in South Carolina.
Yep. So it isn't a mountainous region. There's a lot more swampland, but we put this one in the mix because South Carolina doesn't have really many mountains areas, so we wanted to like kind of be able to like supplement. So this is in central South Carolina near Columbia. It's famous for protecting the largest intact tract of old growth bottomland hardwood forest in the U.S., featuring some of the tallest trees in the east and a globally significant biodiverse floodplain ecosystem that offers hiking, canoeing, and wildlife viewing. So it's known for its like jungle-like atmosphere. It's got a lot of dense tree cover, high humidity, gives the park like that, like, tropical feel. It's also known for its insane mosquito population.
Yep.
Yeah, and they have like a mosquito meter. I don't even remember what the
skeeter meter.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Skeeter meter, but I don't remember what the range is, but they have like funny names.
Yeah, it's like from moderate to not today.
Yeah, basically.
And it's funny because we've been hiking there before, and we've seen one of the first times we went, there was people coming off the boardwalk and they had mosquito net hats on.
Yeah, and we were like,
yeah, we were like, look at these dorks. And then
as
like we got further into the forest, we were like, oh,
Jesus. Yeah,
that's
dude.
why.
Yeah, that was crazy.
We got destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely wrecked. And like, as far as like wearing bug repellent, like they say you can do it, but you have to apply it in the parking lot. They don't want you applying bug spray when you're actually in the park because it can damage the like firefly population.
That's
because
right.
that's another thing. There's a huge firefly population there, and it's actually kind of like an attraction for the park. That you can go out and see like the firefly displays. I forget, it's like during the summer months. Like when it's warmer, and you can go there at night and just like, take it in. There's actually one of our friends, Marsh Dean, shout out to him, has a couple videos on his YouTube channel of like going out there. I think they canoed, or kayaked, one of the other.
Yeah, one of our former guests, Marsh.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, so because of the cool firefly attraction and being able to see that migration, that gives it a point. But the mosquitoes and how bad they can be, I think, was one of the only cons of Congaree. You know, I really love Congaree. I think it's one of the best places, at least in this area, around the Columbia area, to actually hike because there's not many. But the mosquitoes at certain times, being as bad as they are, took a point away. So that's why we gave Congaree National Park a 4 out of 5. And again, just to reiterate, we know that Congaree is not a mountainous region. It's more of a swampland. Um, but
We
you know,
had
we needed something to put in here.
Yeah, we had to give South Carolina a little something.
Yeah, a little something.
Toss a bone.
Right.
So overall, mountains, we have North Carolina with a 5 out of 5 and South Carolina with a 3.25 out of 5. So North Carolina wins the mountains.
Yeah, I think we all kind of knew that was coming.
Yeah. Alrighty. As far as cities, we're going to jump into North Carolina cities. First off, when we've already kind of mentioned this one, we've got Asheville.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vibrant mountain city in western North Carolina, nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, known for its eclectic art scene, thriving craft brewery culture. It's known as Beer City, USA. A stunning natural beauty with abundant hiking and waterfalls, historic Biltmore Estate, and it's a celebrated farm-to-table food scene. So it blends like Southern charm with bohemian spirit. A lot to be said about the food and drink scene.
Yeah,
in
this
Asheville.
is definitely a plus for Asheville is the food culture there. I really like the vibe. It's got a very hippie vibe, very musically oriented. You see buskers all up and down the streets, and there's a lot of really cool live music to see. But as far as the food and drink scene, I think that's really where Asheville. That's what it's called after the food and drink, right? No, but the food and drink scene in Asheville is really where it shines, and so we'll get into that.
Yeah. Just naming a few because we've definitely dabbled in the food scene there.
Mhm.
Is a chai pani Indian cuisine. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's like world famous. That was recommended to me from somebody at work. White duck taco. God, we love white duck taco.
Yep, that's a staple for sure.
Yeah, there's a few, but we like the one that's like right in downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Taco Billy, another one, great one for tacos.
Yep.
Edo for the pho and sushi.
Mm-hmm.
We love going to Double D's, the double-decker bus. It's like this big red double-decker bus that's like permanently parked in downtown for coffee and you know, treats.
Mm-hmm.
We basically lived at the French Broad Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
In the winter, we'd go get hot chocolate and desserts there all the time.
Oh man, they have this like it's Oaxaca hot chocolate, and they have all kinds of different chocolates and stuff and baked goods at this place, and it is just a phenomenal place to go for like sweets and desserts. So we would go eat at one of these other places, and then for dessert we would go to the French Broad Chocolate Factory, and yeah, I love the food in Asheville.
Yeah, me too. It's top notch. Can't say anymore. Like it's great.
Yeah, and one of the last places we have that we put on here, and again, we know there's going to be people that have been to Asheville or live in Asheville or know the area that are like, oh, what about this place or this place? These are the ones that we know of that we really like and some of our favorites. Tupelo Honey is also on there. That is a chain. They do have them some other places, but the main one and the one that's kind of the most well known, I think, is in Asheville. So
yeah, and I mean it's right in downtown. We like the vibe, you know.
Yeah, good food.
There's something to be said about like chain restaurants and you know, but like they're not all the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we really like the Asheville one. Beer City, USA. Like we said, there's so many breweries in Asheville. There's the Sierra Nevada, the Fat Tire. So there's Fat Tire Brewery in Asheville, but there's also one in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Asheville has the Bold Rock Cidery. That one's awesome. Wicked Weed. There's a few locations for Wicked Weed.
The main one is in Asheville, though, right?
Yeah, no, I think there's two in Asheville. There's the Wicked Weed, and then there's the Wicked Weed Funkatorium.
Right, but the Wicked Weed is a brewery, but they also have they also have good food. They have a restaurant also.
Yes, they do. There's also food at Bold Rock too. There's the Green Man Brewery and Highwire. There's probably some that we have left off here, honestly, but those are just the ones that came to mind.
Again, there's going to be people that know about so many other breweries, but I'm not a brewery guy. I don't drink, but these are just kind of the main ones that we know of.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as things to do in Asheville, you can do brewery tours, you can do biking bar tours, you can just walk walk downtown. There's the art walk, art museum, local shops. Something to be said about the art walk is really cool. That there's it's like a wheat symbol that's
Mm-hmm.
on. So it's the art walk is just throughout downtown, and there's different like art installations marked by the little um wheat symbol kind of on the ground. Um, that's pretty fun. I'm pretty sure there's a website that you can go to kind of see like the map and stuff, but you can
There
kind of
is,
just
and
wander.
yeah, there is. You can find a map online, and they have maps in different shops and stuff downtown. And it's kind of like a, I don't know, uh, it's like geocaching in a way. Like you have to go look for these different art installations throughout the town, and some are really easy to spot, and some are a little more difficult. But yeah, it's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you can also tour the Biltmore. They do a special like holiday light display. I've toured the Biltmore once. I was younger, so my parents paid for it. I don't think it's typically been on our list because it's kind of more expensive, especially during the Christmas season. But still cool to visit. There's this.
The Biltmore Estate was built by the Vanderbilts, and it was at the time, and it may even still be this way, the largest family home in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a whole thing with the Biltmore I won't get into, but not a big fan. It's a different conversation. I'll talk about it in our actual Asheville episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a board game cafe called Well Played in
Mm-hmm.
Asheville that is just really cool. It's they do sell drinks too, but you go in and like it's like a library, but instead of books, it's board games. So they've got it like alphabetized. Every board game that you could ever imagine and some that you probably never imagined are there.
Thousands and thousands. Yeah.
Yeah, you can spend so much time there. We thought that that was just a really unique, cool thing to do. Asheville also has a pretty big music scene. There's the several venues. The Orange Peel is just a smaller venue, indoor. Rabbit Rabbit, it's a medium-sized venue. It's outdoor. We actually stumbled upon like Two Door Cinema Club playing there one time. We were like standing on the outside, just kind of vibing.
Yeah, we were gonna try to break in, but
There was security. They were eyeballing us.
they were.
And then there's, I think it's Harrah's Cherokee Center. It's like a big
Mhm.
convention center. I actually saw Falling in Reverse there. Shout out. But there's Billy Strings does concerts there. I was gonna try to get tickets, but they were all sold out. And there's like 4 days
Mm-hmm.
of Billy Strings in Asheville. So
Yeah,
big music scene.
Asheville is really has a really awesome music culture, and for it being a smaller town, it is a pretty small area. Some bigger acts do come to Asheville, and so it's really cool because you got this real dichotomy of like real like local music. Like I said, you'll see buskers out on the streets playing and like for money and stuff, and then big acts like Billy Strings and others will come and play there also.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a very music centric type city. In the way like Nashville is, but not as like commercialized, I guess.
Yeah. It's also smaller too, but
Much smaller, yeah.
obviously, yeah. And like the walkability and layout, it's pretty easy to walk around Asheville. There's a lot of public parking, but it is like there's lots of hills and there's a pretty big homeless population that you'll kind of like you will see them downtown. You will basically have to kind of step over them in some situations. I remember walking by and we were like walked past somebody like clipping their toenails.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still walkable. It's a relatively like I would say clean city, but bring comfortable shoes.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So overall, we went over a lot. Asheville, we said 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not really sure what exactly that half a point um why we only gave it a 4.5, but I think not I don't want to get into it, and I don't want to get into like any sort of politics or anything, but overall I have a real love for Asheville, and we've spent a lot of time there, but there are certain things about the city that can be a bit much at times. So for those reasons we gave it a 4.5. That's what I assume anyway.
Yeah, I think there was something holding. I honestly think it might have been the homeless population that was holding us back from a 5.
Yeah, some of the social aspects of it is not great. But
Yeah.
it's you know, if a lot of people that live in bigger cities, especially now, like are kind of accustomed to that, unfortunately, to those kinds of things. But um, in a small town like Asheville, it's extra unfortunate, especially with like a lot of the virtue signaling that goes on there. But it's overall the people are very nice and but yeah, what definitely like really made Asheville go up the ranking was food, culture, music for
Yeah.
sure. So
Yeah. It's an awesome location.
yeah.
All right. Up next, we have Wilmington, in North Carolina. It is a historic port city in the southeastern part of North Carolina, known for its charming Riverwalk, vibrant downtown district, proximity to beaches like Wrightsville, which we talked about, Carolina, and Cure. It's a significant role as the quote Hollywood East for film and TV production, alongside attractions like the Battleship of North Carolina and the is it Airlie Gardens?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned it earlier. I've been to Wilmington once. And talking about like food and drink scene, we went to the Slice of Life Pizzeria and Pub. It's been serving Wilmington since 1977, and I just remember them having like banger pizza.
Yeah, it's a staple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in addition to that, it's got a pretty vibrant food and drink scene. Again, it's centered in like historic downtown river district, offers a lot of fresh seafood, barbecue, global flavors like Thai and Vietnamese, Southern comfort food, and some craft breweries. Some rooftop bars and spots like, Seabird, Pinpoint, and the Basics. And then they've got that Cape Fear Seafood Company. So a lot of diverse dining and nightlife in Wilmington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And things to do, like we mentioned kind of earlier, you can tour the Battleship of North Carolina, which we didn't mention this in talking about like Charleston and Folly, but they've got the Yorktown, USS Yorktown. We did a whole episode
Right.
on the Yorktown in our like Halloween.
Special. Yeah.
Yeah. You can also tour, and so in Wilmington, there's the Bellamy Mansion Museum of History and Design Arts Tour. It's like a house garden and slave quarters that you can visit there too. And then, of course, we kind of mentioned the River Walk. And as far as walkability and layout, a lot of walkability in the historic downtown area and along the Riverwalk, connecting shops and restaurants. But overall, like because of the city layout, if you're not in downtown, like you need a car.
Yeah. It's very sprawled out. But because of, I mean, I like Wilmington and I'm not trying to like diminish it in any way. It's a solid place. But overall, to me, it's not anything to really write home about. Like I said before, and I know that this is going to have some opinions about it, but it's like a diet Charleston to me.
Yeah.
It's like Charleston, just not as good. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was going to come down from up north, somebody I knew or something, and they were going to ask me where they should go, Wilmington wouldn't be one of my top 5 places.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go to like a coastal city, like Charleston would definitely be in there, and some of the other places we may have talked about, but Wilmington's pretty far down the list. I mean, again, it's not terrible. I like it. It's nice. But it's, so for those reasons, we gave it a 3 out of 5.
Yep.
I think that's pretty fair.
3 out of 5 for Wilmington. Up next, we have Charlotte, North Carolina. Have a lot of experience in Charlotte. I work there. And I've lived, across the border in South Carolina, in, Lake Wiley, which is, it's basically Charlotte, just in South Carolina. So very close in proximity, have a lot of experiences there. Charlotte is in the central Piedmont region of North Carolina. It's known as a major financial hub, second only to New York City in banking. Has a lot of sports. So there's the Carolina Panthers, football, Charlotte Hornets, basketball, the Charlotte FC, soccer, and NASCAR. It's a growing cultural center with unique neighborhoods, museums, and outdoor activities like the U.S. National Whitewater Center. We could do a whole episode on the Whitewater Center. I love the Whitewater Center.
And the Whitewater Center is another one of those places that is very underrated in the fact that like a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah. people that I work with, I'm like, oh, have you been there? And they're like, no. Some of them have heard about it and haven't ever gone. And then some of them are like, I don't even know what that is. So it's like, it's in your backyard and you don't know.
Yeah, I know people that live in the Charlotte area, and I'm like, I say something about the Whitewater Center, and they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "How do you not know what that is?"
Yeah, it's
It's awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
I it opened. Okay, so I had a season pass there in 2013. It probably opened like a couple years around that. I don't remember exactly, but it has expanded so much. It's a nonprofit, so they have man-made water whitewater rapids. There's a couple different, but they've got like class 4 and 5 rapids. The first time I ever went was with my dad, and they were doing Olympic trials there, which was
Yeah,
just
the Olympics does go there and train.
yeah, that was really cool. They have like rock walls. I honestly I could
Zip
again.
lining, high ropes courses. We did whitewater rafting there together, and we all got fucking tossed out of the boat and almost died.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy.
Have we ever told that story
I
on
don't
this
think
podcast?
so.
Yeah, we need. I don't know what like that story would fit into. What episode?
Let's just do it right here.
Okay, so all right, we went to go on this whitewater rapids tour at the Whitewater Center, and it was me, you, your mom, your dad, and then one of your dad's coworkers
Yeah, and his girlfriend.
and his girlfriend. So that's what, six of us?
Yeah.
And plus our guide, who was this like tiny little skinny like hippie chick.
Yeah.
Who like talked about how she did I've done like class 5 rapids and, blah blah blah. Like she was like legit, right?
Yeah.
Well, man, we got stuck in the area. What was it called? It was like a whirlpool. You come down one of the embankments over like a little mini waterfall, and there's an area where if you get stuck in there, you just spin around and you can't get out. And so what was that area called?
I can't remember. I can't remember what it was called, but it's by like the biggest kind of like obstacle on the at the Whitewater Center.
Well, we got stuck in that, and this poor woman who is our guide is like, because like we all have a paddle, everybody has a paddle, and you help paddle, but she's the one who steers the boat, and like I don't mean to like sound, I don't think she was strong enough to get us out of that.
Well, and also, so she steers, but like the people in the boat with your paddles are like the horsepower. So like we have to be in sync, and we weren't in sync.
Yeah. And so, because we sat by the bank and we watched other people go down after, and we watched other people get caught in that same like kind of whirlpool area, but they were able to get out, but we weren't. And at one point, another boat was coming down, another raft.
Yes. So we went down when we got hit by another boat, and so what happened was our boat tilted like it was gonna dump everybody out, and then that other boat came and hit me and knocked me back in the boat, so I was the only person left.
Yeah, the only person. Even our guide got knocked out of the boat.
Yes.
And I've told this story before, but I remember the look of panic on the guide's face and thinking to myself, well, if she looks like that, that's not good.
Yeah.
Because normally they're like, we've seen this before. This isn't a big deal. But when that boat was coming down towards us, I remember looking up and seeing her face like, oh shit. And she just screamed, get down, everybody get down. Because if you're going to take a hit in any kind, like they'll have everybody kind of leans forward and puts, because you're all wearing helmets, and you'll all kind of lean forward.
Crouch
down. And I remember her just being like, yelling down, down, down. And the look of like terror on her face, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. And we got smashed by the other boat, and everybody went out except for you.
Yeah, I was the only one left in the boat, and I was like, what the heck?
It was just absolute chaos, dude. And like the entire boat flipped over on, upside down, and all of us, or not upside down. Yeah. It almost flipped upside down, but then straightened itself out, and you were left in the boat, but you were the only one. And the rest of us are like struggling. Some people are like went down the fucking river, and other people are like trying to crawl over to the side, and there's paddles everywhere. And I remember looking up at you, and you were just kind of looking at me like, what do I do?
Yeah, because like I'm trying to, yeah, I think, and the guide got in the boat and I think she pulled you in because I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know what, I was the only one in the boat. So I'm like, I don't know what to do, who to help or what. And yeah, and she was pretty winded. She was pretty shook after that.
Yeah. So everybody else, I think it was just me, you, and her in the raft after that, and everybody else kind of went off to the sides, and we like had to go back and pick them up.
Hmm.
And like, yeah, man, it was pretty intense,
That
and
was, yeah.
people were bleeding. Like,
Yeah. Well, and I think what's so funny about that is because we've whitewater rafted so many times, like between like me and my dad or, my family. And never once have we tipped over. And I think we jinxed ourselves because I'm pretty sure.
because I was there.
Well, and dad's coworkers were there. And I
Yeah.
think his girlfriend was like a little bit nervous, was like, oh, I don't want to end up in the water. And we're like, you won't. Like, we've never had a problem. We've never, fallen over. We've definitely seen people do it, but we haven't. And yeah, it's just if our boat would have tipped and I would have also fallen out had that other boat not knocked me in the head and, you know, knocked me into the boat.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Anyways, back to Charlotte. We love the Whitewater Center. The food and drink scene in Charlotte, it's growing. A diverse culinary landscape blends some southern comfort food with a lot of international flavors. There's an upscale place called Fahrenheit, which is a pretty trendy upscale rooftop restaurant on the 21st floor of the Hyatt Place. It's known for its stunning, like panoramic city views, stylish atmosphere with fire pits, an inventive new American cuisine with like Asian Southern twists. There's also some food halls around, like Optimist Hall. It's basically like a you know upscale like food court, basically without a mall. But they're so pretty cool. I've gone and everybody can go to a different place, but you can still eat in the same, like, share a meal together, but everybody gets their pick of what they want. And so the food halls are pretty cool. Um, there's food trucks uptown. There's like the halal food trucks in uptown, which that's another thing about Charlotte is their downtown is called Uptown. I think there's a story behind that, but that really caught me off guard.
Yeah.
So like when we first moved, I'm like, what is Uptown? But yeah, so right in the heart of like Uptown, there's a halal food truck that's pretty freaking awesome. We did a ghost tour in Charlotte.
We did.
I don't think we ate at that food truck, but we did eat at a food truck. It wasn't the halal one. But yeah, other things to do. There's that Illusion Museum up in Uptown. There's the Discovery Place, which is like a science museum. We went and saw an IMAX movie there. That was, what was it? It was something about caves, and it was narrated by Bryan Cranston.
Yep. Yeah, it was an IMAX, and it kind of had like the curved screen that goes around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a documentary on just cave exploring and stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool. There's also the NASCAR Motor Speedway and the ZMAX drag strip. And then they did just recently redo the airport overlook, which we haven't been to, but my parents went there with like my nieces and nephews, and they've got a really cool like playground area, and it's like they've got aviation exhibits there, which are pretty cool. They just invested a lot in that new airport overlook, so you can kind of go see the planes landing and taking off, which is cool on its own. And then there's some like really cool playgrounds and exhibits there too.
Yeah, we've been to the old overlook though. That was, I think,
Yeah.
this our second date ever, right?
Yep.
We went and got street tacos and then went to the overlook. And it's cool, even the old one before they like redid it, because you just kind of sit there and watch the planes take off and land.
Yeah. And at that point, it was all like mud because they were still doing construction. So, but yeah, even then, that was pretty cool. That's a cool thing to do. As far as walkability and layout, Charlotte's generally considered car dependent. Not a whole lot of walkability. I mean, uptown, sure, but like all the other peripheral areas that you're going to go to, you're definitely going to need a car to drive. So it's not super walkable. But there's other uptowns like South End and Dilworth and Noda that are really cool. Also, there's like breweries and stuff in Noda, which are pretty good. And then there's like the light rail, which
yeah.
So overall, we did say Charlotte was a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, my thoughts on Charlotte are kind of like, I mean, it's a cool city if that's your thing. There's a lot to do. It's a bigger kind of place to go in this area to do things, but it's not, it's not on the coast, it's not in the mountains, it's just kind of there. And I always kind of say Charlotte's just a bigger Columbia.
Yeah.
And so for those reasons, I didn't give it a 5 out of 5, but
Yeah.
still a solid place.
Yeah, still enjoy it. We didn't even mention though. There's also Carowinds.
Carowinds, yeah. I mean,
It's a
again,
theme park.
not a big deal for me personally, but it is something for people to do, and a lot of people go there for that. But the Whitewater Center definitely gives it a extra points in my view.
Yeah, especially if you're one for like adventure travel, which is what this podcast is typically about.
Yeah.
So up next for North Carolina cities, we have Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take this one because I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, Winston-Salem. I've been there a few times. I like it. It's a cool city. It's known as the City of Arts and Innovation. It blends, rich Moravian and tobacco heritage. That's where the R.J. Reynolds tobacco company originated, and so it's known as Camel City. So that's kind of like what it's known for. But it has a thriving art scene, downtown arts district, and it's also got modern research going on there. There's a area called Innovation Quarter. It's also the birthplace of Krispy Kreme, so that's also interesting.
Krispy Kreme, the wrapper or the donuts?
Both. Yeah, shout out Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like I said, it's known as Camel City, kind of a cool name. It's known for its tobacco like background, which isn't necessarily cool, but yeah, the food and drink scene is pretty legit. I mean, it blends Southern traditions with modern twists, and it offers everything from like upscale dining to casual bites, with a strong emphasis on local sourcing and creative chefs. So, there's a Camel City barbecue is pretty well known. They have really good barbecue. River Birch Lodge. So it's overall got really good food. It was very, as far as like the things to do. There's Old Salem Museum and Gardens. There's just all different kinds of things. There's a good amount of like local breweries. It almost gives me like an Asheville kind of feel. Maybe not as artsy, but
Sure.
kind of that same way. And it's also very hilly, kind of like Asheville is. And I know that we'll talk about walkability, but yeah, I mean, there's different things to do. It's a pretty solid place in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we rate it?
Yeah, well, so as far as walkability goes, it's generally a car dependent city. It's, like I said, pretty hilly. But there are distinct walkable pockets with like a larger spread out structure, and there's ongoing projects focusing on like connecting these different areas.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like exploring the city, you can walk it, but it is better to have a vehicle. And like I said, the food's pretty solid. So, but overall, it's not anything incredible or super special. It's a nice place to spend maybe a day, drive through, check it out, but it's not somewhere you'd necessarily want to go back to frequently, or to be like a main destination. So for those reasons, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. We sound like sharks. We're like, and for those reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it for North Carolina cities. Moving into South Carolina cities. This is one that we've talked about a lot. Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Charleston is located on the South Carolina coast, famous for its rich colonial history, well-preserved antebellum architecture like Rainbow Row and the Battery, cobblestone streets, and a deep Gullah culture alongside a renowned culinary scene, vibrant arts, and a romantic atmosphere, making it a top U.S. travel destination known as America's favorite city.
Yeah, you can't do a South Carolina cities without having Charleston on it. It is a staple, and it has gotten much more popular in recent years. Even 10 years ago, which isn't that long ago, but a lot less people knew of Charleston. A lot more people I know from up north are coming down and passing Myrtle Beach to go to Charleston. So it's become very popular, especially in like recent years, and for good reason. It's a beautiful city. I absolutely love Charleston.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's close to Folly Beach, which we love, but like they're to me they're like separate, right?
Hmm.
Because Folly Beach is on James Island, and then there's like the downtown Charleston area, which like we mentioned, Rainbow Row. It's just like these pastel houses, and there's also uh the market. What is
Hmm.
it? There's like a name for it. I can't remember
Well, it's
exactly.
just I think it's just the Charleston City Market.
Yeah, right.
It's known among as other things, but due to like historical context, we won't refer to it as that. Um, to try to be like I guess more like sensitive. Um, but it's famous. That market is famous because back in the day, that's where they would sell slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's a lot of history with slavery and stuff down south, so that's unfortunately a part of the history. But that's what the market was known for. And but nowadays, obviously, there's no slaves, but they sell all kinds of cool stuff. It's like a real cool part of it's like outdoor, indoor market area, and we're a sucker for a market.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's just cool to walk around. There's like food and drink that you can get there, but there's also like trinkets or like handmade goods and things like that there that are sold at the market. Food and drink scene. They've got a lot of good seafood. I put Fleet Landing on here. It's a pretty upscale waterfront dining area. I got shrimp and grits there, and hands down, like I still my mouth waters over the shrimp and grits there. But it's pretty upscale. It's like at least for us, not something that we're gonna go to a lot because it's pretty. It's like $3 or $4 cents.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Charleston is it is very there are like real upscale areas, whether it's like restaurants or things to do. Um, but it's also the kind of city where you can find other things. So there's a lot of restaurants in Charleston that aren't overtly expensive that are still top notch.
Yeah, sure.
King Street's a really big area for shopping. Again, it's a very historic area of downtown. But there's a lot of cool stuff to do and see there. There's different plantations that you can visit. Again, going back to like a lot of the history in this area. Magnolia Plantation, Boone Hall Plantation. There's an aquarium in Charleston. It's not the best aquarium, but it is an aquarium. Um, it's okay. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Um, there's horse and carriage tours. There's the Yorktown, like we talked about, the USS Yorktown, which we toured. You can tour, I think, anytime. It's really cool to do ghost tours during like the Halloween season during
Mm-hmm.
October, which we did an entire episode on the Yorktown. If you're interested in that, uh, yeah, it's historic. It's old. It's beautiful. Um, Scary during Halloween time. If you're somebody that's into that kind of stuff, it's a really cool place to go during like the fall. Uh, in the summer months, it's really cool to go to because it's like semi-tropical. Like it's a coastal city.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing but good things to say about Charleston.
Yeah, and as far as like walkability and the layout, the historic downtown is highly walkable, which I mean, it's kind of a given. Um, you can explore like the charming streets there, the architecture, shops, and restaurants, and then but like pretty much anything else, you're gonna need a car for. Like if you want to go to the beaches and plantations and stuff, you're definitely gonna need a car. So, um, overall, we said Charleston was 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I would say going back to the walkability, the only thing that isn't perfect about its walkability, a lot like other places like Charleston, like Savannah and stuff, is like a lot of the city is easily walkable, but some of it is cobblestone, very old brick, brick and cobblestone. And
Yep.
so, especially if you're somebody that likes to partake in a little bit of drinking, it can be kind of treacherous to walk around.
Yeah.
And we've seen many a people fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but aside from that, yeah, I
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. We love Charleston.
Yeah. Next up for South Carolina, we've got Greenville, South Carolina. It's located in the upstate region, nestled near the Blue Ridge foothills. It's got a strong arts culture and known for like Southern hospitality. It has a nationally recognized food and drink scene.
Mm-hmm.
characterized by its farm to table movement, southern flavors, diverse culinary options, and a thriving brewery and bar culture. Um, we've been to Greenville
Yeah.
a couple times.
Mhm.
Things to do. There's the Falls Park. There's also the Medusa tree, which we got stuck in.
Yes. Yeah. So Falls Park is a park in the middle of the city that has waterfalls. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even like walk out onto the rocks and like kind of be in the middle of the waterfalls. And people go swimming there. So I mean, it's like a really cool area in the middle of the city, and you have like the skyline in the background and the buildings surrounding you while you're playing in a waterfall. So for those reasons, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and the Medusa tree is this giant tree where the roots of the tree have been exposed, and you can kind of it's big for pictures. A lot of people take pictures next to it and stuff. But we climbed up it and climbed up into the tree
Yeah.
and got stuck.
Well, yeah, because we
It
couldn't
was late
figure
at
out how to
night.
get down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a couple that walked up, and there's like street lights lighting up that area. So there was a couple that walked up, and we were kind of just sitting up there and not really making any noise. And I remember they were like kind of talking. They looked up and they were like, oh, like once they realized we were up there, and they're like, oh, like I don't remember exactly what they said, but we did voice to them like we're trying to figure out how to get down. We were like, call the fire department.
No, yeah. No, because they even said they were like, "Do you guys need help?"
Yeah.
And we were too embarrassed, so we were like, "No, we're good." And then jokingly, I was like, "Yeah, call the fire department."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they just kind of stood there and watched, and I was kind of like, "Yeah, we're just kind of like waiting for you guys to like leave so we can get down, just in case I fall. I don't want to be embarrassed."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we waited for them to like leave before trying to get down.
Which we made it down just fine.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was a lesson in our climbing.
tree climbing. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, Greenville, we have 4.5 out of 5. We do really enjoy Greenville.
Yes. Yep.
Up next for South Carolina cities, we have Beaufort.
Mm-hmm.
Beaufort,
Yep.
not Beaufort. It's located on Port Royal Island in the Low Country, and it's known for its rich history. It's the second oldest city in South Carolina. It's also known for its stunning antebellum architecture draped in Spanish moss, some low country scenery, maritime heritage, and its role as a popular movie filming location, which we talked about. We did a Hunting Island
Mm-hmm.
camping podcast. We talked about that. But as far as filming things like the Forrest Gump and the Big Chill, Beaufort also offers historic like downtown riverfront park, nearby beaches and some outdoor adventures. So as far as the food and drink scene, it's got a vibrant blend of like authentic low country cuisine, fresh local seafood, and a mix of casual eateries and some upscale dining, often in pretty historic settings or with waterfront views. So it's known for signature dishes like shrimp and grits and a low country boil.
Yeah, we did a golf cart tour there.
Yeah.
Not a horse and carriage tour like you would do in Charleston or Savannah or saint
Mhm.
Augustine. We did a golf cart tour. So we got in the back of a golf cart and drove around.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, and we wanted to do a horse tour, but I think they were all full, so we opted for the golf cart tour, which was nearby. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean that was still even pretty cool too, just to go see the homes and stuff around. There's a lot of really cool
Yeah.
architecture around a view.
Mhm.
As far as things to do, we kind of already mentioned there's Hunting Island State Park. We've done a whole episode on that. We love Hunting Island State Park.
Mhm. We go camping there every year.
Yep.
And yeah, we did an entire episode on that. If you want to hear about Hunting Island and some of our adventures there, then go check that episode out.
Yeah. As far as the walkability and layout, it's a national historic downtown. Lots of like walkability, like any other like historic downtown area. A lot of like known for like the waterfront parks, unique shops and restaurants thereby, but a lot of like areas outside of it are going to require driving. Like if you're going to go to Hunting Island State Park, you absolutely need a car.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, for Beaufort, we gave a 4 out of
Drum
5.
roll.
Oh. 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. It's pretty solid. I feel like it could have maybe been more than a 4 out of 5, but to be fair, yeah, that's what we gave it. So deal with it.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything negative about it, so I don't know, but you know, it's not a 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
But it's close.
Yeah, it feels a little claustrophobic. I don't like
Yeah.
it's very small and like dense and packed in
Right.
in the actual like downtown.
Yeah.
So, all right, up next we have Columbia, South Carolina, located in the heart of South Carolina, and it is the state capital, also known as Soda City, which I didn't really understand why, but it's because people will instead of saying Columbia, they'll say Cola, and so that's why it's called Soda City, which I had called it Cola before, like, hey, we're going to Cola or whatever. I didn't know that's why it was nicknamed the Soda City, which makes sense. It's home to the University of South Carolina, also a major Army training center at Fort Jackson, and a growing hub for business, arts, and outdoor recreation with its rivers and parks. Downtown Columbia has a pretty diverse food and drink scene, from like Southern barbecue to other like diners. We talked about that a little bit in our Walk for Peace episode.
Yeah.
There's the Vista and then 5 Points, which is kind of like a bar area, like the party scene, but there's some breweries, wine bars, and eclectic spots there, plus some southern and global flavors with a growing craft beer culture and charming patios. There's one place in particular you were like, it's Tacos Nayarit.
Yeah, Tacos Nayarit.
Yeah, we can't figure out how to say it, but
that's how you say it.
It's a pretty good little local spot.
It's a local spot. The only one I know of was in Columbia, and then they opened another one in West Columbia. So it's a local taco spot. And you know, that's the one thing about Columbia is Columbia has some really good Mexican food. But this place in particular, Tacos Nayarit, is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to put it on here because it is only in Columbia as far as I know.
Yeah.
I think they started out as a food truck and then, you know, got their first location and then their second location. And so they have really awesome, pretty authentic Mexican food.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of things to do in Columbia, you know, for it being the size that it is. Again, it's no Atlanta, it's no Charlotte, but for it being a smaller but still city-sized city, there's the Soda City Market on the weekends, which is they close down the downtown, what is it?
Main Street,
and have a big outdoor market. And, you know, we're sucker for a market, blah, blah. The South Carolina State House Museum is really cool. And we went there a couple weeks ago and got to check it out and kind of explore that. There's the Canal and Riverfront Park. We like doing that. The River Walk is really cool. You know, you can go under the bridge and, you know, look out over the river and stuff. And it's really pretty to go and walk there, especially when it's nice out. You see a lot of people out doing that. We also have a zoo here in Columbia.
Yeah.
Which is one thing that we have that like Charlotte doesn't.
True. Yeah. Riverbank Zoo.
And it's a pretty good zoo.
Yeah.
You know, surprisingly, it is actually a really, really awesome zoo if that's what you're into. We already kind of touched on it, but Congaree National Park is also right outside Columbia. If you're somebody that's into the outdoor kind of scene and into hiking and stuff like that, we've already kind of touched on that. There's a Nickelodeon theater in downtown. It's like an old school movie theater they can go see movies at for like really cheap. So that's kind of cool to check out. Sesqui State Park is in Columbia. It's right on Two Notch Road. And so it's like a little wilderness area. It's a state park that's in the middle of the city. It's like a fucking, you know, what do you call it? It's like Central Park. It's like the Central Park of Columbia, kind of.
Yeah.
It's not huge. It's not massive, but there is a cool pond there that you can go like rent kayaks and go fishing or whatever. You know, people do. And there's some hiking trails. Overall, it's not like an incredible state park, but it's something to do in Columbia. And then, of course, you know, home of USC, you can go to a Gamecocks game.
Yeah, if that's your jam.
Right.
As far as like walkability and layout, though, it's overall pretty car dependent unless you're, living in downtown, like areas like Main Street and the Vista. But other than that, you're going to be car dependent.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Overall, Columbia, 3 out of 5.
Yeah, we gave it a 3 out of 5. Again, maybe we're kind of biased because we live here and like we like to travel, but overall, Columbia, it's okay. But people typically leave Columbia to go to places like Charleston or even Charlotte. So
Yeah.
for those reasons, we gave it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have gone over the beaches, mountains, and cities in both North and South Carolina.
Yeah.
And
before we go to the overall winner, though, we gotta go over the cities winner.
right.
So we had North Carolina with a 3.75 out of 5, and South Carolina with the 4 out of 5 overall.
Mhm.
So South Carolina won the cities.
Yep. So with that being said, when we add up the totals, the actual totals, and this might be kind of surprising to some people. However, I think that we were as fair as could be. And again, I know that there are going to be people that listen that disagree with this or that think that we should have added certain places and not, or talked about this place or whatever. But as far as our opinion goes, as people that have spent a lot of time in these areas, I think we gave it a fair shake.
I think so too.
And
yeah.
so with that being said, do you want to go over who our overall winner of the Battle of Carolinas is?
Yeah. So overall, averaging between beaches, mountains, and cities, we have South Carolina with a overall score of 3.75 out of 5, and North Carolina with a 4.3 out of 5 score.
There you go.
Which is really interesting because South Carolina took both beaches and cities, but because like North Carolina's mountains was a 5 out of 5.
Yep.
North Carolina took the cake.
Yeah. So overall, for the two states of North and South Carolina, the mountains are what really make North Carolina shine over anything else, and that's what won North Carolina the Battle of Carolinas.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, all of this is subjective. We had fun with it, right? You know, being able to bring up some criteria and put some metrics to it, just throw some numbers on it, but. It really just depends on what your preference is, right? Like if you're a beach person, you're going to want to go to South Carolina. If you're a mountain person, you're going to want to hang out in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Cities wise though, South Carolina took the cake. I think the South Carolina has a lot better cities, especially the ones like on the coastal areas.
Yep.
But yeah, this is one that we've been wanting to do for a while. We obviously love the Carolinas, so they both are dear to our hearts for different reasons. But we just thought this would be kind of a fun little competition series to kind of put together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, despite being a travel podcast where we do episodes on different destinations around the world, the Carolinas and specifically South Carolina has been a big theme of our podcast. And we've done numerous episodes and we'll continue to do numerous episodes on this area in particular. So I think it was a fun one to do to kind of compare, and you hear people from both these states always kind of compare them and talk about which is better. So I think it was kind of fun to sit down and give our opinion and,
try
to figure it out.
Yeah. And it's important to talk about the places that are like near to us too, because I mean, yeah, not everyone can afford to go to these not crazy, but just like international destinations, right? So I think it's also important to talk about the places that are close to home and things that you can do on a day trip.
Right.
Every travel doesn't have to be a 10-day or, even longer stay in a different country. Like you can go out and find awesome experiences just in your backyard too.
Yeah. For some people going, their vacation may not be going to hike through the jungles of South America. It might be, we're going to go down south and go to a beach for the week. And so for those reasons, I think it's important for people to kind of hear it from some locals, some people that live in these areas and frequently travel to these places and kind of hear our opinions on these places, and it may kind of help them decide.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. We know this was a little bit of a longer episode, but we had a lot to cover here. But Yeah, again, let us know what you guys think about our assessments, the locations that we chose. We would love to hear from people around, especially if you're also native to North and South Carolina. And once again, like we don't typically do like comparison episodes like this. We typically stick with one destination and the itineraries and hidden gems at each location. But let us know if you enjoyed this style of episode. And with that, we've got some social media that we'll call out. So temporary locals, we are on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram at Temporary Locals Podcast. You can find Jared on Instagram at Rover_Stover and Rover Stover on YouTube. And you can find me, Megan, at Mega Goes Global on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And with that, we would encourage you guys to share the episode, give it a like, comment, let us know what you think, leave a review. It really helps us out. And with that,
I'm Jared.
and I'm Megan. Thanks for exploring with us.
And remember to be a local anywhere you go.
Bye.
Bye.